It has been a dangerous season on the water. After a wet spring that added to the mountain snowpack, water levels are high and moving fast. Water that might look calm can be deceptive.
Sadly, we've already surpassed the number of Swiftwater deaths compared to a year ago. As of today, a dozen people have now died in Swiftwater incidents, and CPW now says that 2 others are missing and presumed dead. 9 News reporter Katie Eastman talked to water rescuers about their efforts to save as many people as they can.
14 deaths is more than Colorado normally sees around this time of year, and that's because the snow runoff from the rivers is lasting a lot longer than usual. The state's Swiftwater investigator says it should be slowing down by July 4th. Instead, things are speeding up. The same story might be told over and over, but every year, rushing water takes more lives.
I believe we actually pulled one victim out nearby the library up here.
The water doesn't care.
Basically, it creates an eddy.
But Robert Lopez does.
So as member of the water rescue team during Swiftwater season, this is our Swiftwater gear bag we usually carry with us on the rigs.
In just a few weeks, he's responded to 7 water rescues in Boulder Creek. One of them was a 9-year-old boy that they rescued, but he later died from his injuries.
The one we had in recent memory has affected our team a little bit more so than others.
The amount of Swiftwater deaths in Colorado is higher than any other year in recent memory. And because the water is so cold, experts say if you fall in, first put your toes to the sky, but then let go of your raft and try to swim to shore.
If you can get yourself to a position where you can start moving through the water effectively, absolutely, self-rescue is a big thing we like to advocate.
Lopez wants to see more people with life jackets and helmets, too. It's the same advice every year, but if it means more people survive, he'll keep saying it.
Water's powerful, water's relentless. It will continually flow without hesitation, stop over anything, over anyone.
Of those 14 Swiftwater accident deaths this year, all but 3 have been private rafters. The state says if you are unsure at all, the safest thing to do is to go with a commercial rafting company or wait until the water slows down. In Boulder, Katie Eastman, 9 News.
Officials are warning people to be careful on flooded trails, including the Cherry Creek Trail. This is video along Spear, where people were trying to ride their way through the floodwaters. A similar thing happened in Arapahoe County, where deputies say there's almost 2 feet of trail covering, water covering the trail underneath the overpass, and it has a current. They say you should never cross high water, whether you are walking, biking, or driving.
As we head towards the holiday weekend, people flying United Airlines have had a terrible time over the past few days. It started with severe weather in the Northeast that delayed or canceled hundreds of flights over the past day. But then United also has told passengers that they don't have the staffing to handle all the flights. So check out some of the photos from DIA that viewers sent us this morning. They see people have been at the airport for hours, and some are sleeping on cots that United actually provided. United asked the airport to help with blankets. And DIA hasn't even been as impacted as other airports. So far just today, 497 flights going in or out of DIA have been delayed, with 88 more canceled, the vast majority of those being United flights. And the CEO of the airline says that the FAA is experiencing staffing shortages. Right now, 77% of air traffic control facilities are understaffed. That means the FAA then has to slow down traffic, which affects the major airports especially. The FAA had shut down controller training during the pandemic, but now they're trying to catch up, but it's taking a while. Tom Costello is going to have much more on this coming up at 5:30 on NBC Nightly News.
Oh, another lovely day. I know we were watching those temperatures. Did we hit 90?
Yes. We did. Yes, it was 90, Alex, in downtown Denver yesterday, but DIA didn't quite get there, and that's where it counts. That's the official observation station for Denver. But today, the first 90-degree day out at DIA. We've topped out at 91 there and 95 in downtown Denver. So we're dealing with windy, warm conditions, high fire danger out across the western slope, and these temperatures which are trending above average. 90 currently in Denver, 93 in Greeley, 99 in Pueblo, 88 in in Lamar. So this is the first 90-plus degree day of the year, and it's late. Typically, we see our first 90-degree day by June 10th or 11th, and so this is really kind of unusual. We're seeing gusty winds ramping up out across the western slope where red flag warnings remain in effect. Humidity values are decreasing this afternoon, and where you're seeing a bit more moisture out across extreme eastern Colorado, we're tracking some severe thunderstorms. In and around the Parachute area where that wildfire is burning, winds have been coming in out of the west, going about 15 to 20 miles per hour, but the potential for gusts to 35. Out on the far eastern plains, 2 separate severe thunderstorm watch areas, and we're seeing some convection in northeastern Colorado, non-severe storms with lightning and rain around Akron, Sterling, and Holyoke, and we're tracking large hail in and around the Springfield area. Some of the hail reports coming in southeastern Colorado, 1 inch in diameter in the Baca County area. And Storm Prediction Center does have western Nebraska and extreme southeastern Colorado in the area for more hail and rain as we move through the overnight hours. Denver stays warm and quiet with temperatures in the 80s until sunset. Sunset's about 8:32, and then things will cool off a little bit. We'll continue to track the severe threat out across the eastern plains, and thunderstorms return to the forecast for Denver at the end of the week. We'll cover all of that just ahead.
We turn now to the latest on the Spring Creek fire in Parachute. It is burning. It's already burned more than 3,000 acres. Firefighters got some extra resources that they've ordered because they think conditions today will fuel it further. They say at this point they have 8 crews and more than 300 personnel that are working on the fire. This is actually happening on the day that marks 5 years since a different Spring Creek fire. That one in southern Colorado, and that fire destroyed more than 140 homes in Costilla and Huerfano counties. At the time, it was Colorado's 3rd largest fire on record, burning 108,000 acres. That's larger than the size of Denver. Investigators say that fire started due to an illegal campfire sent by Jesper Jorgensen. He was arrested and charged, but Jesper never went to jail. He spent the years in the state mental hospital in Pueblo, that after being determined to be incompetent to stand trial. And last year, the district attorney in Costilla County decided to drop the charges against Jorgensen, saying they didn't think his mental illness would ever let him go to trial. The Louis Tomlinson concert at Red Rocks, that was the one that was canceled by that awful hailstorm, will not be rescheduled. Live Nation says there are scheduling problems and they won't be able to bring Louis back this year. They say instead they'll be refunding everyone who had bought a ticket.
Andrew Yang, who ran for president a few years ago, is in Colorado. Part of his visit includes pushing for universal income to help people experiencing homelessness. Yang met with incoming members of Denver City Council this week. The city has given $2 million to do a pilot program run by the Denver Basic Income Project. The nonprofit is currently giving more than 800 people monthly payments, completely free of conditions and rules to pay it back. Some people are receiving $1,000 a month. The program runs through November with a corresponding study by the University of Denver.
I met people who benefited directly from these programs. It's really invigorating and heartwarming. We all know that there are folks who are slipping through the cracks of the way our programs are designed right now, and it hurts everyone. It's extraordinarily expensive, it's costly, not just on an economic level, but also the human level.
All of the participants are experiencing some form of homelessness. The study on the program's impact will be released after the pilot ends. People in Texas tonight are experiencing extreme heat, 100 degrees and higher. Check out this video from early this morning where a road actually buckled because it was so hot. Roughly 45 million people from Arizona to Alabama are under excessive heat warnings or advisories today. It's affecting power grids, even leading to blackouts. In Texas, 2 people have already died from the extreme heat.
Today, the Supreme Court upheld the power of state courts to review state laws governing federal elections, ruling that North Carolina's Supreme Court was within its rights when it decided that a Republican-drawn map of the state's congressional districts was a partisan gerrymander. The ruling dismissed the argument known as independent state legislature theory. It's had some Republicans thinking the limits of authority of state courts to strike down election laws. Conservatives wanted the high court to broaden the power of state legislatures. Voting rights groups say the Supreme Court decision today is the right one and prevented what could have been a radical overhaul of our country's election laws.
The court rejected this bizarre independent state theory which would have given state lawmakers extraordinary power to do whatever they wanted with regard to drawing the maps for federal elections, and state courts would not have been able to do anything about it.
Now, there is another redistricting case, and that one's in Ohio, but that one is still pending.
The Greeley Stampede is gearing up for a big weekend heading towards the July 4th holiday. 9 News is a proud sponsor of the annual event, now in its 101st year.
Kevin McFarling is the marketing manager of the Greeley Stampede, and he says attendance this year is on pace with most years, but not quite as big as last year. That's when they celebrated their 100th anniversary. Over the nearly 2-week period, more than 220,000 are expected to enjoy all the rides, concerts, rodeos, and other events. McFarling says the organizers are excited for the big July 4th weekend.
We're feeling good. You know, time goes by a little bit strange while you're working the Greeley Stampede, but the energy from the guests and everything has been great. We've been having a really good attendance, so we just got to keep that momentum going and keep celebrating 4th of July.
McFarling says the Steely Stampede brings in $22 million each year into the community. On July 4th, 9 News will be broadcasting the Independence Day Parade live with our own Jordan Chavez as one of the parade's hosts. That will start at 9 a.m. on Tuesday.